What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Now today we're going to be kind of answering a question that I get a lot on this channel, and it pertains to G-Shock alternatives. Okay, as you can see, I am wearing a G-Shock Neo Tokyo. This is a DW6900 variant, and yeah, so I'm very excited about today's episode because we're actually going to be taking a look at a watch that's very sentimental to me. So as you know, I stole my dad's DW6600 back in the 90s, okay? And I also had a baby G, but there was another kind of G-Shock alternative that I think a lot of us started out with, and they've been around for a very long time. And it's actually in this package. So let's go ahead, cut this open, and then we'll take a look, yeah? It is 12:27 p.m. Let's get down to business. All right, guys, so we are going to use this Gerber flat iron to very gingerly cut this Amazon package open. That's right, you already know, Timex. All right, so I think a lot of you already know what's in the box, but this is absolutely a viable G-Shock alternative that I think a lot of watch people on YouTube don't really talk about, and I think it's a huge bummer because although Casio does make a ton, and I mean a ton, of digital watches, Timex has made a bunch of them for a very long while, at least for as long as I've been alive. So let us take a look at the very prolific Timex Ironman. That's right. Very cool digital watch with a huge emphasis on athletics, or athleticism, excuse me. And we're going to kind of compare and contrast G-Shocks. We're going to kind of take a look at where this thing has its strengths and where maybe, you know, a G-Shock would be more fitting for your collection. I think they're not mutually exclusive. I think you could totally own both. But yeah, let's get up close. We'll talk about what this watch does, and then we'll do some comparing and contrasting. Oh gosh. All right, so here is the Ironman. I realized something as I was removing it from the carrier. Indiglo! Yes, this watch does have Indiglo. If you're a longtime viewer of this channel, you know Indiglo is the bane of my existence. Let's just knock it out right now. Get a very nice backlight there when you press that top right button. We're going to talk about the layout of these buttons in just a moment because I think it's very telling what this watch is targeted for and catering to. But let's go ahead and measure it real quick. All right, guys, so as I fumble around for my digital calipers, we should note this specific model is the Timex T5K413 Ironman Classic 30, and it's considered oversized, but we're going to verify that in a moment. Now, at the time of filming, on Amazon, you can find this for $37.99. There will be an affiliate link in the description below, and there will be a bunch of other options when it comes to these Ironman watches. But let's go ahead and kind of verify if we would consider this to be actually an oversized watch or not. 43.8 millimeters across, excluding any of those buttons. Now we're gonna do our best to get a lug-to-lug measurement, although this kind of has like integrated lugs with that Velcro strap. We'll talk about it in a moment. This feels about right. 51.8 millimeter lug-to-lug, and then we'll get that case thickness here. 13.8 millimeters thick. Okay, I wouldn't say that's like ginormous. I have G-Shocks that are much bigger than that, and we're gonna go ahead and measure my G-Shock on my wrist right now in a moment. But I wanna talk about the button layout and just what this watch is really catering to, and why the layout of the case is very, very telling. So, okay, the Timex Ironman, and we can see it literally says Ironman Triathlon up, I guess where the 12 o'clock would be on an analog dial. But yeah, the Ironman Triathlon series, this is a race that has men and women, you know, peak conditioned athletes, absolute beasts. They are doing it all, just pinnacles of endurance and tenacity. These are absolutely incredible specimens, and they need some pretty good gear, high quality gear, to help them train and get to that peak condition. And yeah, these Timex Ironman watches are absolutely catered to that, and we can see that here, like the biggest button on the whole watch's case is the start and split for your timer. Okay, so you have the stop and reset down, I guess, by where the 4 o'clock would be, bottom right. But the biggest button on the dial, I keep wanting to say, on the case is your start and split for your timer. Because if you're doing any form of training that these people would be doing, whether it be swimming, running, interval sprints, stairs, anything that you're doing, you don't want to be fumbling around for to find your split or to start your interval. And it's actually very telling, because on the G-Shock, you know, your biggest button here is your EL backlight. So yeah, in the dark, you don't want to be fumbling around for anything. You can just boop, hit the biggest button at the bottom of the case, and you know it's going to light up your dial. But here, that's not what's going on. They know that this is going to be catering towards athletes that are training, and they don't want them fumbling around for their timers here. They know that if they just hit this button here, it's going to start, and then you can measure your split, and then you can stop and reset down here. We've already spoken about the Indiglo button at the top right, your set and recall over on the top left, and you can cycle through your modes down here to your bottom left. Now, this is our chronograph, and it says chrono in big letters there. We have a nice beep. See, it measured our split. And we're going to go ahead, hold to reset. Boom. Everything is zeroed once again. This is our main timekeeping mode, Wednesday. This is actually not set correctly, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. Timers, alarms. Now, this has 3 daily, weekly, and monthly alarms. Occasion. So I'm not actually sure what this is. We're gonna have to take a look at the manual, actually. But we're gonna talk about everything this watch has, which we're going over now, and everything this watch doesn't have when we bring in the G-Shocks. All right, guys, and real quick, just to update you, the occasion mode is actually exactly what it sounds like. It's just another type of notification alarm. So occasion mode allows you to set reminders for occasions like birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and appointments. Very nice and kind of self-explanatory. So you'll notice this Timex Ironman, although it's one of the more modern variants of the Ironman, because again, I remember in the 90s, gosh, I had the one that is, you know, similar outline, or layout, I should say, of this watch. But of course, it was like gray and black resin with the orange. And this one has kind of a blue hue, almost like navy blue. I'm very bad with colors, guys. But you'll notice that although this is one of the more modern ones, it's still incredibly simple. And that's because this is everything you need and pretty much nothing you don't. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that the other, you know, alternatives to G-Shocks would have. There's no GPS, there's no solar capability, there's no auto calendar, and that's what I was going to mention earlier. This is not set out of the box. It's actually way off. And that's because this specific Ironman does not have that auto calendar set all the way to 2099. Like some, I think even some DW5600s have that. This does not have the world time capabilities that a lot of G-Shocks have. This only has a 100-meter water resistance rating, but of course that's going to be good enough for anyone that swims, whether it be competitively or just, you know, casually like me. And I'm going to be honest, although this has very rigid case feel. I don't know. I mean, it's clearly some form of polymer. I don't want to say resin like G-Shock resin. It's very rigid, and although it feels tough, probably doesn't sustain the same amount of knocks as this resin. You can feel that this resin has a bit more give to it, and so this could probably absorb some more knocks than this Timex Ironman. I feel like this would probably sustain a good amount of knocks until it just eventually cracks, whereas I've never been able to crack a G-Shock. I've taken some, here's some scuffs here or there. I've maybe even nicked a few chunks off of the resin case, but pretty much G-Shocks will last until the resin eventually just kind of rots and crumbles off. But I have seen a bunch of cracked Timex Ironmans, and I think that's just, a difference in what it caters to. I think G-Shocks are predominantly catered to, well, shock resist. We're tough. We drink Monster Energy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to make jokes. I wear G-Shocks the majority of the time, believe it or not. But I think G-Shocks are catered to the more rugged, extreme, just over the top, overbuiltness. And then this is, no real bells and whistles. It's tough enough, but it's catered to, well, people that are running, jogging, training of some sort. I do know people in the military, and personally, I know people in law enforcement that wear Ironmans, and they're just totally fine. I mean, Jocko Willink is one of the most famous proponents of the Timex Ironman. He was a freaking Navy SEAL. He's one of the most badass dudes I've ever known of. And he wears a Timex Ironman, and he takes pictures of it every day to make sure that we're all waking up at 4:30 a.m. Go get some, Jocko. But although, this isn't as overbuilt as a G-Shock, I think it's perfectly capable, if I'm totally honest. And the price is right. You're getting a whole lot of functionality for under $40. This would be kind of I guess a competitor more to like a DW 5600 because the price range is there. So if you were kind of fumbling between a DW 5600 E1V from Casio G-Shock, you might want to choose this if you're just more into a more sleek design, lays flatter on the wrist, less bells and whistles, not as chunky of a case. And one of my favorite parts is this strap. Okay, I know a lot of people, myself definitely, when it gets very, very hot, these G-Shock resin straps, if I don't switch it out with an adapter, I will get contact dermatitis, and it's just something that happens. I know people love to make fun of me in the comment section. Oh, you have wussy skin, you have baby skin. Well, sure, I guess I do, but it's not really something I can, I can't do anything about that. So this, whether you are swimming, getting it wet, maybe you're sweating, maybe it is very hot where you are, this is going to have a much easier time mitigating those contact rashes and that discomfort that you would get from, say, a resin or a rubber strap. Now, one thing that I know will be an issue with this is that if you are going to the beach or someplace that's sandy, you're training a lot outside, this is going to gather a lot of sediment out there, but again, that's probably a lot less likely to happen than potentially getting contact dermatitis, which happens to me like every summer when I get caught outside with one of these resin straps. So yeah, absolutely love that they have a variant of the Ironman that just comes with this very cool textile strap right out of the box. Very, very nice. Okay, so we've already measured this watch, but now we gotta bring in the big boy. And this isn't even the biggest boy. This is kind of just a medium chunker, kind of like myself. Let's go ahead and measure this G-Shock DW6900 Neo Tokyo. 48.6 millimeters. There we go. We'll do a lug to lug here. 53.7 millimeters. 16.4 millimeters thick. Okie dokie. So, Gato, please put the dimensions up of both of these watches And we don't even really need those because we can see just with our naked eye or the camera that this G-Shock is, you know, a bit more chunky than this Timex Ironman. Definitely a sleeker, flatter laying profile. As we can see, the lugs kind of just contour to the wrist. No extra heft from that strap, although we are going to weigh both of them in a moment. And specifically when we're comparing it to the Neo Tokyo with its negative display, you know, this Ironman is just supremely visible. So definite high visibility. The display is clear. Again, everything you need, nothing you don't. Let's go ahead, put it on the wrist, and then probably the final thing we'll do is weigh the two watches, but I definitely want to wear this one. All right, guys, here it is. For reference, I have a 7.5-inch wrist. We can see the Ironman logo here. It's really comfortable. Guys, that contour, how it just kind of hugs the entirety of my wrist without like going over, I really like it. I really like that blue tone. It's something different. I don't currently have any blue G-Shocks. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, this is my new running watch. Okay, as I've mentioned it a ton. Pretty much every live stream someone wants to ask me about it. I was a competitive powerlifter for like over a decade. Then the current world situation happened. All the gyms closed down. Didn't know what to do. Started doing home workouts. I run on average about 3 miles a day now. And I've been, you know, loving wearing my watches to help me do these kettlebell workouts, these sandbag workouts. I wear a plate carrier to do hikes and everything. And I've dropped, gosh, over like 80 pounds now. And it's actually been great for me. So this is my new running watch. I know I was wearing my G-Shock GBDH 1000 with the heart rate monitor to run, but the truth is, I'm gonna make another episode about that. I've since been wearing my Whoop strap. Now this doesn't tell time, it doesn't even have a screen, but it has a lot more information than the G-Shock Move app allows. So this is sleeker. It gives me not only, you know, running metrics, but it also tells me my recovery, my variable heart rate, my respiratory intervals, my sleep and recovery, and this has just been amazing. Let me know in the comment section. Although this isn't a watch, it's not even a smartwatch, would you like a review of this? And I'll give you guys a review, but because I've been wearing this, and this has, you know, the monitors on it, it would be kind of too redundant to also wear that G-Shock when I train. So I can wear this 24/7, and it even has this really cool charging thing that you slide over it, so you can literally wear it all the time. And then I've been just cycling through different watches when I train here. And this is going to be, hands down, my new running watch. It's sleeker. It's so inexpensive at under $40 that when I'm throwing, you know, my sandbag around and everything, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I can kind of treat this as being disposable. If I drop a kettlebell or something on this, I'm not going to care. This G-Shock Neo Tokyo, I still beat it up. I'm definitely not babying it, but I really like this, this G-Shock. I really enjoy this G-Shock, and it reminds me of Akira, one of my favorite movies of all time, one of my favorite animes of all time. So I'm going to be much more willing to beat the crap out of this while I'm working out than even one of my G-Shocks. So who would have thunk? The time teller is now getting backups for his G-Shocks, but yeah, really big fan of this already. Again, I've owned Ironman watches for a very long time, ever since I was in the single digits, ever since I was around 9 probably. And we had a sports athletic store, sporting goods store in New Hampshire called MVP Sports. And I remember my dad took me there when I was little, and he bought me a Timex Ironman. I was so excited. And then I got a baby G, and then I stole his G-Shock eventually. So yeah, and now we're here. So we're full circle, guys. I think MVP Sports is definitely closed down since then, but RIP MVP. All right, we've broken out the scale. Let's put this Timex Ironman on. 39 grams. Okay, let's go ahead and put my Neo Tokyo G-Shock. 66 grams. So quite a bit heavier. I'm gonna be honest, you're not really going to feel a huge difference on the wrist. It's not like these G-Shocks weigh a ton. Maybe some of the metal G-Shocks would, but this, you know, this isn't supremely heavy. 66? Yeah, 66 grams isn't like supremely heavy. It just speaks to how dang light this Ironman is. Alright guys, so there you have it, up close and personal with a definite alternative to a G-Shock. We're going to take a look at some others in the near future because the Ironman, you know, that's not where the story ends. There are other things. There are Garmin's, there's Sunto's, and leave me a comment in the comment section. What alternatives to G-Shocks do you swear by? Which ones would you like me to take a look at, and which ones do you think you'd like to own in the future? And do any of you own a Timex Ironman? Again, I think a lot of us kind of started out with one, so leave me a comment, tell me that story, and I'd love to read it there. But yeah, guys, under $40 for a very competent digital watch from a company a lot of us love. Kind of a no-brainer. We've taken a look at some of the things it does. Well, we've taken a look at some of the things it doesn't do. But which one do you like best? So the Timex Ironman, I'm giving it my stamp of approval. But guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you to my channel members for allowing me to film every single day here. And yeah, there's going to be an affiliate link where you can find this on Amazon. Again, at the time of filming, it was a bit under $40, just about $37 and some change. And yeah, using those affiliate links in my description really does help the channel out a bunch. It allows me to pick up these items to review. Joining the channel, it's $4.99 a month. It's like YouTube's Patreon. That's a great way of helping me out. You get some extra content over there, and you get access to that members only Discord chat. You can check out my personal website, www.thetimetellershop.com. And yeah, the easiest way to help me is just to keep doing what you're doing and watching the content. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you get notified every time we upload. We upload here a whole lot. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.